yo te la suspendí. Oye, échate pa' allá, échate pa' allá, métela por otro lado. Ya yo no soy bobo ni Juan Pelao. Lo digo yo, en la confianza ya no, 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 no. Que manda, a confianza que voy.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Dive In with Captain Sean. Today we're going to be talking about Panama and Costa Rica. And today we've got an amazing special guest. We've got Captain Piot from the motor yacht Dardanella, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we've got a ton of ground to cover today, so we're going to jump right in to cruising from San Blas to Punta Arenas, Costa Rica. And then we're actually going to add in a little bit to the north as well, too, which isn't on this itinerary. It's on another one, which I've also prepared. This is probably one of the most, I get asked about this area. I've been asked about this area quite recently. A lot of vessels are just kind of sick of the Caribbean and the Bahamas, though there are some great cruising grounds in there. I've never really covered the Caribbean, but that'll be on a future show. But today's route, as you can see, we're going to start in San Blas, go through the Panama Canal, around these islands here in Panama, leave Panama, and then into Costa Rica. Now, a distinction is that technically, you're not allowed to charter in Panama. We can pick guests up in Panama and then go to Costa Rica. So there's a little bit of a gray zone about how we cruise. It's similar to some places that I've been elsewhere in the world. For Thailand, for instance, similar. Like oftentimes we'd have to pick up in Malaysia and we could drop off in Thailand or some other places that, of course, we're all familiar with it in the world. But we're not going to focus on, say, chartering, but focus on these great destinations that we have. Now, we always have a featured vessel, and today's featured vessel is Dardanella. I've always loved this boat. It's a great boat. The owner is she's a really interesting person as well too. If you know her, you know exactly what I mean by that. Patron of the arts. You can just tell just by the paint job on the boat. We'll ask Piot a little bit about how that paint job came about and ask him specifically about the vessel. But here's some great shots of Dardanella. It's you can see the type of cruising that this boat has done. I mean, look at her right on top of that wreck right there. In like Piot's not scared about getting up close and personal to some amazing places and great open spaces on board the boat. It's a really just kind of comfortable boat. Like there's the program is really in line with nature and wellness and just, again, doing what I like to do, and that's leaving the places that we visit better. We did that on board Latitude. I've tried to do that on all the boats that I've been on, and I get a lot. One of the big questions I get, I'm a member of the Captain's Club at Monaco, and one of the themes that we're talking about this year at the Captain's Forum right around the Monaco Boat Show is how to change the image of yachting. And my argument has always been, not argument, but more comment has been, we don't need to change our image. We need to show people what these boats are all about. And Dardanella is definitely at the forefront of being a great example of what these boats can do. Another boat that, and the reason that shares the same DNA as Dardanella, and it definitely worth a mention, is Scintilla Maris. And that was an old fishing trawler. There's a great article by Stuart Campbell in Boat International, which you can Google, on which talks about the conversion of this vessel at Damen shipyards, how it's hybrid. Again, vessels that aren't traditionally yacht looking, but are really pushing the boundaries of exploration and comfort at the same time. I mean, the boat, like the comment from the owner, I think he just wanted a fun interior, and that was designed by Vreepak. Now, Vreepak I've had the pleasure of working with them when I was on Latitude. They were the designers of that vessel. They did, Scintilla Maris. They were the designers of Dardanella. Really, really forward-looking guys. Encourage you to go to their websites and look at the projects they've done. Look at the boats they've been involved with. Project Zero, which is an amazing, amazing project. World's largest fully non-fossil fuel vessel ever built, big sailboat. Amazing stuff. There's another project on there called Project Supernova. It's an opportunity to build something really special, and these are definitely the guys to help you build it. That's Marnix and Bart. That's their hero shot right there. And the bags that they actually have over their shoulder. Now, inside those bags are, if you're a vessel, or if you are running a charter program, or you're a broker, if you're anybody, you can contact Repack and they will send you one of these. And inside it is a plastic cleanup kit for beaches. And they're really handy. You can go in and just do beach cleanups with these. And there's the bags are made by North Sails. But anyway, you can learn more about that at repack.com. And I encourage you to go check out their amazing, amazing boats. Little fun fact, more yachts that have gone through the Northwest Passage have been built by Repack than any other designer. One other boat that bears mention, because I got to mention it, it's one of my favorites. It's Asteria. I was down in Central and South America with her years ago. She's a great platform, and she is for charter as well on the Worth Avenue Yachts website. Much bigger platform than Dardanella. And back to Dardanella, here she is once more, but we're first going to talk about its amazing captain. There's few captains and few careers that I am envious of. I've been fortunate to go to some amazing places and do some amazing things, but Piot is definitely is done some really cool stuff too. He was born in Poland, raised in Cape Town. He's into sailing, into a lot of stuff, and he's been with the Dardanella program for the past 10 years. Well, let's bring him on to stage. Whoop, where'd he go? There we go. There he is. Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Good morning, and how are you?
Good day, Sean. Nice to be here, mate. Good to chat to you. Looking forward to
now,
it.
Where are you?
We actually on the Caribbean side of Panama.
Oh, nice.
We're actually just about to go to San Blas. How coincidental, isn't it? It just works out perfectly. We're just about to go to San Blas to do a pickup.
Well, that's good. So what we'll do is we're going to jump right into, and then there's a little picture of your crazy crew there.
They don't always look like that. They do dress up a little bit.
So anyway, let's jump right in and let's talk about San Blas then.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites.
Okay, well, all right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in.
Yeah.
So, all right. Huh?
Go ahead.
No. So tell us a little about. So now, if I wanted to bring guests and get them on the San Blas, how would I do that? Or tell us a little bit about the San Blas Islands and why they're special.
Yeah, I would say the San Blas Islands, and many consider them to be like the pearl of the sort of Central America, Caribbean coast. They are relatively well known with cruises, small boats, but not that many super yachts go visit. There's been a few, of course, that like to go a little bit off the beaten track. But I think what makes them extremely special, apart from what you see there, turquoise water, beautiful, pristine. I mean, you can literally, you can back up to a coral reef, tie up to a palm tree, and you can step up into a coral garden, and you can see right to the bottom, 10 meters visibility. It's amazing. However, the people that live there makes it extra special.
Tell me about the people.
Yeah, so it's an indigenous community, and they're authentically indigenous. They have remained, they've kept their culture very unique. They've kept their culture very pristine. They've actually had a little bit of a revolution. They refused to be ruled by Panama. So they are protected by Panama, but they manage their own land and the fisheries by themselves. Very tribal, very self-sustained. In terms of religion, it's all about Mother Nature. It's all very much trust the earth, and they are really, really friendly.
Yeah,
Um,
there was. Go ahead.
I mean, we like to, as you probably know, we like to interact with the local community. So my crew, we when we go visit, we bring them machetes and we bring them clothes, and they always come in on their dugout canoes, like tradition, the stuff you see in Papua New Guinea. It's a very similar thing, it's amazing. Dugout canoes. Sometimes they're sailing dugout canoes, which you don't often see in other parts of the Caribbean. Very special. They come in, we give them water, they give us coconuts, we give them t-shirts. They have a lot of rules. They don't want everybody just going, like crazy, like they don't want jet skis on jet skis. They're limited to diving, they're limited to kite surfing. But once you get to know them, you'll be surprised how welcoming they are and what they let you do. We've often go spearfishing with them. Catching octopus. It's part of the experience. It is really incredible, really nice people, and very unique in their appearance, very unique in their dress, very elaborate, colorful tapestry that they make. The woman, like bright orange, bright red, green, blue. I mean, it's very. I mean, it is a very special place.
Well, that's everything I heard about that. When the reason I was down in Panama and Costa Rica, I was actually doing a plastic cleanup on a boat called Belle Lachon for Ocean Voyages, which I'll talk a little bit about. And we had, it was unfortunate. We were anchored in Cologne, which we'll talk about. Might as well talk about now. But we sent a bunch of the crew to go to the islands and help clean up the plastics that were on the beach, obviously not from the indigenous population. One of the other things that I do, that I always put in itineraries, and something that I think as charter brokers you should definitely add this into all your emails that go out right there, is that you'll notice in the itinerary where I have points of interest, one of the things I always put is like Panama Emergency Services. Now, if you can click, you basically, in the electronic version of the itinerary that I can send you, you click on that link and it will give you all the emergency numbers in Panama for what you need to get done, including private ambulance services. The other thing that I give you, and this is something that a lot of people don't bother to look at or tune into, is the travel advisories of the U.S. Department of the State. The State Department puts together, has an amazing website with amazing resources, especially if you're a U.S. citizen. But not only if you're a U.S. citizen, but if you're a Canadian or really for any country, the information you can get there is really, really impressive. But anyway, from the complete opposite from San Blas to now Cologne, which I put in here is more of a it's more of a way station, but so you could go through the Panama Canal. Would you agree? Or like, I haven't spent I spent a little bit of time in here, but it was really not a place that I would probably bring guests to.
No, I wouldn't say you want to bring Cologne at all.
Yeah.
People to Cologne at all. It's getting better, but it was considered to be one of the most dangerous cities in Central America. I mean, having said that, we had Shelter Bay Marina at the moment, which is like an hour's drive from Cologne.
That's on the other side.
Yeah, and that is beautiful here. I mean, we can't spend too much time here, otherwise we'll get a little bit bored. But the jungle's insane. The crew go for a run here. There's monkeys howling. You see crocodiles in the marina. So it is special. It's got a special place, but you don't want to be here for too long.
No, I would agree. Now, of course, the Panama Canal, and this is something that's on a lot of people's bucket list through here. And so talk about, like, you've been through the canal how many times?
No, we've been there a few times, especially recently. In the last few months, we've crossed it like 5 times in the last 2 months, I think, back and forth.
So walk me through the process of bringing a yacht through the canal from like, obviously you've got a local agent that you probably deal with. Some are better than others.
So I would
Go ahead.
highly recommend a guy called Alex from
Yeah.
Associated Yacht Services. Great guy, and very well connected. I mean, as most of these off the beaten track places, it's always good to deal with someone that knows a lot of good people to get you through.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
even in times where you can't be assured of a place, a transit, Alex has done really well for us. I mean, we've crossed the canal as we wanted it. Now we've got a trip coming back after Sandblast, and we're going to do it in 2 days. We're going to anchor in Gotham Lake. So,
cool.
yeah, I think, for the guests, it's going to be an amazing experience to be anchored in the middle of a jungle flooded Costa Rica rainforest. I mean, it's incredible. So we're going to do that. The process is, I mean, it's relatively simple. You need a local pilot, and they pretty much take control. They are very good. They know the canal super well, and it is a wonder of the world. It is a wonder of the world, and you can, if you think that it's 100 years old and the way it works, how efficient.
Oh, we lost you a little bit there for a second, Pio. But yeah, just if you can hear me, the experience of went through the canal was like the pilots were great. They actually had a good understanding of the history, and they'd point out cool stuff. It was a really, really good experience.
Incredible. And if you think about the size of these ships, I mean, you're talking about 70,000 tons being lifted up in these locks. And we like a 37-meter boat. We like a little matchbox in there, just bouncing around. It's a little bit stressful at times. Make sure you get lots of fenders.
Yeah. And then the modern donkey, as opposed to they actually used to have donkeys that there are little trains. And then so now from at the end of the Panama Canal, we come to Panama City. So again, not a place. It's a good like if you're gonna pick up guests, or obviously it's a good hub to do that. Supplies and provisionings I've had to do there. I was anchored right in this little area here for about 3 weeks, waiting for parts for a water maker. So I did actually get to learn Panama City very well, and it's got good infrastructure. You just got to know where to look. And then also too, I was in this little marina right here as well. So, any comments on Panama City? Oh, Pio froze up again. At least he froze up in a good position.
Yeah. No, we're back online, man.
And you're back. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's rolling. We're rolling. I'm listening.
So what? So anyway, so tell me any comments on Panama City or going in and out of there?
Look, I mean, you can get to one of the few places you can get stuff. You can get your spare parts.
Just what I said.
That part is amazing. In terms of sightseeing and social life, look, I think Panama City, the old town, the Casco Viejo, is special.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, and it's got some nice restaurants, beautiful rooftop terraces overlooking the old town. It's just so much history. I wouldn't recommend anywhere else but the old town, personally. Yeah. But when you're there, we go out, on a night out, and we have a good time, and it's getting really revamped. The buildings are getting redone. You can see that there's money being pumped into Panama City, the old town. And I feel like it's going to be, give it a few years, it might be like Cartagena in Colombia. It might be that vibrant.
And again, one of the things that I was doing down there, I popped this slide in. We were there primarily to do a plastic cleanup for Costa Rica, and this is just on deck of the stuff that we were taking out. One of the big problems that the Costa Rican government was having was with overfishing and illegal fishing. And that was, we'll talk a little bit about that further on, and that's the boat that I was on. Anyone wants to know more about plastics in the ocean or cleaning up plastics, contact Ocean Voyages. But anyway, now let's get all right. So we're out of the canal. We're out of this big city, and we're gonna go to this first chain of islands, which you said you don't like.
The Panamanians aren't going to be happy with me. No, look, I mean, the Pearl Islands are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. They are special. They're also very close to Panama City. Whereas if you want to go to Coiba, which we're going to cover next, which is a gem, that takes 20 hours. So in terms of accessibility, the Las Perlas are very close. It's like 40-mile cruise to the top of them. I guess, when you compare it to the rest of Panamanian coast and the clarity of water that you can get in Coiba, the reason why I'm not a big fan is because you got to think all that water coming out of the canal every single day, it does mess the visibility up. The water clarity in this part, you're not going to have that clear water. So the fishing is great. Spear fishing is great, but it's very chances of you getting like more than 5 meter visibility is very rare. So it's so it's a little bit gnarly. The surfing can be good. Like that's must say, anything coming from the southern coast, you can see in your on the map there's some good surf. There's fun surf on the southern bit. So I would recommend if you're going to go visit the Pearl Islands, go as far south as possible to get away from the washout of the river. And
so like down about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom. Isla de San Jose. The previous slide. No. One more, I think. That one, yeah.
Okay.
Isla del Rey, Isla de San Jose. I would say that's very nice. You have the beautiful, you do have the beautiful beaches, the white sand, beautiful palm trees. But we've been cruising this area for so long, and if you come and join me, you're going to get a lot of those islands. I'm going to show you a lot of beautiful white sand beaches. So it's nice to have that extra underwater life. We always like to bring people in underwater, show them the beauty of it. If we can put them on a wave, even if you've never surfed before, we put you on a soft top, that exhilarating feeling, that energy, it's got enough to offer to show a good time. But when you compare it to Coiba and that area, then I would 100% just motor straight to Coiba.
Yeah, now you like these
that area.
Yeah. So, and then that's these little islands, right? These two islands.
That's right. That's all part of that. It's actually all part of the. I group it into just calling it all Coiba, but
yeah.
But that is
so it's
the southern part. Yeah.
These what I'm circling around here. This is on the other itinerary, which we'll talk about. But yeah, there you go.
And Sean, I think again, this is another hidden gem. Like I'm very surprised. I think it's way undervisited, Coiba. Everybody raves about Costa Rica, and Costa Rica is great. I love it. I've got great things to say, but that area, Jicaron and Coiba, it's incredible. Like the marine life, you've got whale sharks there. You've got, big sharks. You've got whales. Like in whale season, which is right now. You've got whales everywhere. It's beautiful, and it's all protected. It's all quite far away from the mainland. Lots to do, on all levels, in terms of you can have introductory snorkelers, or you can have, you can do some deep dives. You can spend weeks there, really.
Yeah, and that's what one of the things that I loved about your setup on board the boat is that what you described is your setup to do, off the bat, and you've got a crew with that mindset into it to do it. And it's there's a lot of boats that I know of, and I've walked on board, and they've had either a really go-getting crew, and I'll be like, "Where's all your gear?" And they'll be like, "Oh, we don't have any gear." You're like, "What do you mean?" And then, or I'll walk on board a boat that has every bit of kit you could possibly imagine, and you say, "Oh wow, it's like how many of you guys are divers?" And they go, "None of us." And I go,
No, no.
Why do you why do you even bother having this? It's just the and I'm sure like my crews were all cross trained. Like all my stewardesses could dive or surf or do whatever. So if I had to send them with the guests, I could. And you guys do the same thing. So
Oh, 100%. I mean, actually,
yeah.
like one of your, I mean, I love one of your crew members. Oh, Jesus. Let's just go and blank. Shelton
Shelton?
Dupree. Yeah,
Yeah,
Shelton
Shelton,
Dupree.
yeah.
Sorry. That's really how we know each other. You know, I mean, that guy's
Yeah.
phenomenal, and the footage that he took. So I do model myself. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like we spoke years ago about the Southwest Passage, and I've always liked how you run your boat and the kind of crew you had. And we try and do the same. It's all about, if my guests are not fast asleep by 9 o'clock in the evening, we're not doing our job well.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and it's the type of it. I mean, it's honestly, it's even talking to owners, the they'll ask me like I get guys or former will call me and be like, oh, I want to buy a boat, and I'd say, well, have you decided on what your crew is going to be? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter what you get. There's a lot of guys that have like Land Rovers and don't even push them to near what they can do, and then there's guys that could have like a Hyundai Excel and run that thing like and go crazy with it. And it's the same as on boats, but you need an enthusiastic crew that truly loves what they're doing to really bring these amazing dreams to life.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. And it's not for everybody. I've had an amazing first mate. I had a guy called Calvin Dendy Young with me. He was with me for 6 years. He started as a deckhand, moved to become the mate, became my relief captain. He was with me solid. You say you don't make them like they used to. That's a solid guy. Other guys, I've had on that lost it 2-3 weeks and they couldn't cut it. So it's not for everybody. Honestly, I think my crew is like one of 1,000. When I advertise for crew, I'm trying to scare people off more than actually entice them. Because but yeah, once you get them, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. That's the whole thing. If you want to do extraordinary things, you got to have extraordinary crew. I believe that.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. The yeah, this is like there's you surfing again.
I do work a little bit.
So tell us about these.
Where are we? Look. Where are we? Give me 1 second. All right. Yeah.
Like, where am I?
Yeah. Okay. No, 100%. I know exactly where we are. Again, I consider this to be part of the, if I was to do a cruise and do like say 3, 4, 5 days in that area, this is all part of the Coiba Park. Again, you look at the La Bruja. This is in the right-hand corner. That's an amazing dive site. If you get it on a good day, that's a rock in the middle of nowhere. It attracts so much life, Sean. Really phenomenal, really good diving. A lot of people, I mean, look, we will get onto it later. Like Cocos Island is a phenomena, but it's really hard to get these kind of dive sites. The level of diving that is experienced, is set by Cocos Island, the experience. But this area, I do believe, on a nice clear day where the water visibility is amazing, Isla Secas have great dives. It's got and the location, if you zoom out, it's it's very far away from the mainland. So you've got this remote feeling. It's not affected by the rivers that come out. It's beautiful beaches, coral gardens. It's nice, man. It's sort of that paradise that you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's in the this. I love this picture right here. So tell us about this picture.
Well, let me see. That on the tree is Calvin. Is the first mate. and in the back that's the boat, and in the forward is a beautiful, beautiful woman who happens to be my girlfriend. You would, yes. So I've got my friend, I've got my girlfriend, and I've got the boat, and
Yeah, but that's yeah,
the
but you know what
scenery,
I mean. You
and
just look like
the
you're having
scenery.
fun.
Oh, we try. I mean, attitude is everything, Attitude is everything. You have a duty, being on a boat, to come with a good attitude, man, to the people around you and the people that charter you.
Yeah, I agree. And then so anyway, just looking at this little anchorage right here, you got a couple of anchorages right off Parita,
Yeah.
La Parita. Yeah.
This is a great, just so you know, this is a great checkout place. So if you want to clear
Yeah.
out of Panama and move into Costa Rica, Islas Paridas are great for that. Seamasters who we use on the Caribbean side, on the Costa Rican side, and a little bit on the Panamanian side, they've got it dialed. So it's really, really easy. The customs officials come over, clear you out, and off you go. Very seamless. Very, very
Yeah,
beautiful.
so
Very nice.
that's exactly what I was. That's thank you. Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to talk about. With that, that seems to be like the best clear in and clear out place.
It really is 100%. Yeah, yeah. It's very easy and it's seamless. And then you overnight and you're in Puerto Jimenez.
And then tell us about that.
Okay, so quite a few things about that area which are very special. Nature-wise, it's got the Corcovado National Park, which is considered to be one of the most beautiful and pristine national parks in Central America. It's huge, you can only get there by boat or you can get there by plane. You can hike in. It's really, really. I mean, they've got everything. They've got those jaguars. They've got the waterfalls. They've got they've got a wide array of really pristine wildlife, and guests, it's nice for the guests to get off the boat, as great as the boat is, and actually go into a jungle with a guide and experience what the jungle has to offer. And that is, you don't get better than that. You really don't get more pristine than that. So that's for the wildlife experience. A lot of beautiful rivers and waterfalls to go missioning up, in that area. We found some great gems. You wouldn't even think. You come in, you hike over into a stream with a bunch of kayaks, and all of a sudden it opens up into this sort of valley of pristine water, beautiful clear water. So there's a lot of exploring to do. I'm not going to give it all away, but also in that area you've got the best. Or I wouldn't say the best. I'm lying now. I would say it's the longest left-hand surf break in Costa Rica. It's called Pavones. It's world famous. It's a great wave. Attracts people from all over the world. I mean, it's a big one, and it's for all levels, Sean. It's such a long wave that if you're a beginner, you can sit at the very bottom of it, which is like a kilometer down. Or if you're an avid surfer, a little bit more hardcore, you can go right into the peak. So there's something for everybody. And on the opposite side of the bay, opposite of Pavones, you've got places like Matapalo, Pan Dulce, which are, again, really great breaks, with white sand beaches, beautiful palm trees, beautiful backdrop. One of the things about surfing that like this, not spoken often enough, it takes you to some pristine places. The views that you see from where you're paddling is, it's part of the experience.
What did you think about this you watched the surfing at the Olympics?
I haven't been watching. No, I haven't. I haven't been back to. It's it's like teasing. Like I can't watch it. I can't watch it, man. I just get. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like going. I get too excited, and I can't touch it.
It's like people are saying, like, have you been watching like the America's Cup try? And I'm like, what? I'd love to sail one of those things, and then, but I don't watch them because I'm like, I don't know. I start getting mad at the screen because I'm not driving the thing, or like,
it's like being in the candy store and you can't touch.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we've done a lot of time in Chopu and French Polynesia. We spent a few years actually all around those islands. I know them very well. When I do see the guys riding those waves, it brings back amazing memories. But
yeah,
I'm focused on where I am now, you know?
Yeah, no, I think you guys are like, for down in that area of the world, I think you run the best program that's where it is right now in that
Which
whole Central South America area.
we
Now we haven't
try,
talked
you
we
know,
haven't talked about it, but real quick, it's like now I never hear of anyone chartering like in Colombia. Is
no,
that
it's very difficult. We tried. It's you know, it's very similar. The legislation there is very difficult. You know, we've done a
hmm,
yard period in Colombia. We went up to Cartagena to hold the boat out. It's just the legalities, you know, the corruption. Unfortunately, you know, you need pilots everywhere you go. They don't make it easy for you. You know, they really
yeah.
don't. You're very, you know, even if you want to move anchorages, it's just the amount of paperwork and pilots
Hmm.
coming on and moving you. It's just not user friendly. I mean, um, I spent a lot of time in Colombia just traveling by myself, but you know, like it's too much of a hassle trying to cruise. You know, like I wouldn't want to chance the experience going south for the guests because the authorities are a little bit too strict.
Now going further around the corner, like what, like Peru and Chile. Just might as well just while I got you. Have you done that?
I haven't. It's on the list. I mean, we've been
Yeah,
wanting to do sort of I mean, we've been wanting to go down to the Fjordlands for years.
yeah.
Maybe on the next
I've
boat. You know, next boat.
yeah. It's the yeah. I talked a little bit to your owner about doing a tandem with Asteria and then going down there, but logistically it just hasn't it just the stars have not aligned for that yet. But you've got a really you could be a great boat to go all the way down there. I like the I was contacted recently by environmental organization in Chile that there's actually a seamount that has recently been discovered. It's about 25 miles off the coast, uh, where like they found like this massive amount of biodiversity on there, and they needed to bring a film crew into that particular area, which is something that we were looking at doing with Asteria. That was that was something that came up through my affiliation with the Explorers Club, which, by the way, you should become a member of the New York Explorers Club. So
One day when I grow up, Sean.
it's no, you'll love it because it's a bunch of freaking people that have never grown up.
Maybe I'm perfect for it.
You'll fit right
Maybe.
in. This is a picture that actually, when you were talking about the whales and all the sperm whales, this was taken off. This was taken off of Costa Rica on board Asteria. That was taken by the owner of Asteria with his little son in the
Beautiful, man.
background there.
Beautiful, man. I mean, it's so alive here, Sean. It's so alive. I've had a We'll talk about it later, but off the island of Tortugas, also so many whales, humpback whales. We had guests here last year that went up to the Arctic looking for whales, and I mean, they had great experiences. However, by pure luck, man, pure luck. It was so bumpy, so choppy. We took a tender out. We just thought, okay, we're going to go around the islands of Tortuga because it's so, it's raining, it's
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
weather. What are we going to do, mate? We had a whale breaching in front of them, like 50 meters in front of them. They're
Oh,
like,
I love that.
they were like, we trust you. Show us more. You know, pure luck.
And this is the Drake's Bay. We talked a little bit about that. So tell us about this area right here. This is more national parks and jungles and stuff.
That's right. So from Matapalo area that we spoke about, all the way through to Drake's Bay, this is the Corcovado National Park. I mean, I would say that it's the highlight. Um, Many places in there. There's a lot of rivers that run out on a nice day when it's not too swelly. Um, Great to explore. Great to explore. Go to the beach, go up rivers, try and find waterfalls. Great picnic areas. There's good surf there. There's a surf break that's really nice, really friendly, and some bigger rivers. Like I think Rio Sierpe is a little bit north to there, and that is an incredible river. Like beautiful, beautiful big river. It's and you take your tenders up, and you can go for hours and hours and hours. Into the mangroves, into the jungle.
Ah, very cool.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool. And it's something that's like it's mesmerizing. It's really like Apocalypse Now kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's like this is from Pedro. He's saying right now in Golfito and Golfo Dulce, is humpback whale season. We have dozens now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had one a week ago. You know, it was literally. I mean, we had a client that never swam with a whale. You know, he was 47. It was on his bucket list. He came over for 5 days, and guess what? You know, dreams come true.
That the I've been dying to do. I've swam with whales, but it's always been freezing.
No, it's
like what I was amazed is the first time I was in the water with the humpbacks, which was off Nova Scotia. This humpback came he came right by me, and I looked like right into this whale's eye because this is how close I was. And I said underwater, I said, "Hello, Mr. Whale." And I don't know if you heard me, but as he went by, he moved his fin behind his back so he didn't hit me. I mean, they're super aware and intelligent. I mean, like swimming with whales is just one of the biggest highlights I've ever had. This summer we've got a lot of whales off on Cape Cod, and I've been wanting to get out and do some filming of the humpbacks. But what you don't get up here is where you do get up in the Arctic and then down south is amazing visibility. And that was just showed and so to be in the water and be able to see the whole whale like it's suspended is amazing.
I mean, as you probably know, we've done months and months and months of time in Tonga, which is like the whale central. You know? And we've also I learned a lot from a whale guide or a dive guide called Rudolf Holler in French Polynesia. You know, he's a whale watching. So we learned a lot in that time when we spent in those areas about whales. And what's interesting about that place, which is similar to this, is that the whales come here with their calves. They come here because there's no danger. The water's super warm. There's no orcas. So they come here to raise their calves, and the experiences are so much more profound and so much more laid back because the whales don't feel any danger. So the mother will be at the bottom in like 20-30 meters, and the calf will be coming up and down to the mother. So up, and they can't hold their breath for so long, so it'll be 10-15 minutes, and then they'll come back up. And the beauty of it is that as they come up, they're super young, they're super innocent, they're super curious. You can get an amazing experience with this whale circling you and trying to figure out what you are. When the mom's had enough, she moves off. But mate, like it's so intimidating because they're the size of buses, but they're so gentle. They're so gentle. I mean, it's an experience that I think, if you can have that experience, you'll have a whole different appreciation of the wildlife,
And a beautiful segue into, it's funny, a lot of the talks that I give when they think that this industry that we're in is frivolous, and I say no, it's like what we have the opportunity to do is change the opinions of the 1% of the 1%, the people that really control legislation, control workers, really control the planet, whether they want to or not. But if you can show them like whales and polar bears and all these amazing places, they go back into their daily lives and back into their companies and think, what do we need to do to save this part of the planet? What can we do to change our practices in our daily lives that will not have like a sperm whale choke on plastic, which is, I've seen the insides of that stomach. I've seen like the devastation that we've wrought in places, but I've also seen where good conservation has worked, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do that. And by bringing people that actually can affect change is something very special and something that I take very seriously. And it's a lot of fun too. And I think really at the end of the day, that's the industry that we have the potential to be in. And to change the image of yachting is, again, I don't think we have to change it. We just have to show a different side of it. And that side is amazing technology, amazing access to the environment, and the ability to show people that the planet is still worth saving and that we still have time to save it.
Right, you're 100% right. It's the experience. You can publish magazines, you can show them pretty pictures, but when you immerse these people or people that have the possibility to change, when you immerse them in that environment and you take them to the final frontiers of paradise, I mean, it's impossible not to be emotional. You know,
Yeah,
um,
I agree.
and I know, I mean, I don't want to sound this is a little bit maybe over the top, but I know we've changed the lives of people that have been on this program. I know they've
100%.
seen. Often you dream about going to the moon or going to other planets. I'll take you diving and I'll show you animals that you've never seen before and you'll never see again.
Yeah.
It's like you see life underwater, brand new, like species, life forms that you've never ever even dreamt about. And that is very precious. That is very special. I enjoy, giving people that experience, and I enjoy how the stoke. I enjoy how stoked they are when they come out. I enjoy how they want to bring the kids into that environment. We're a different boat than your normal champagne boat, as you know. And a
Yeah.
lot of people that come to charter us have chartered bigger, flashier boats, but when they come with us, we get a totally different, wholesome experience. And luckily, I must say, it's becoming more and more fashionable to be more wholesome as opposed to be flash. And I do feel the world's changing, and I feel the Pacific has a lot to offer. I mean, it can really change people's perceptions.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about the Cocos Islands.
The gem. I mean, Cocos Island's considered to be, I would say, depends where you read, but it's probably like top 10 or top 5 best dive destinations or impressive dive destinations in the world. So, you'd say top 10 dive destinations in the world just off of Costa Rica, I think 500 miles off. Phenomenal, like phenomenal. When you approach the island, it feels like Jurassic Park. It really feels like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that it
one
does.
island, one island, so much history in it. So much history of buried treasure and, pirates and everything else that goes, in the romantic feel of it all. But the wildlife, um, but arguably some of the largest concentrations of hammerhead sharks. You're going to dive and you're going to see 200 to 400 hammerhead sharks.
Yeah, you sent me some like the videos that you sent me of like the hammerheads. They're like a little dark. The not dark thematically, but just
Yeah.
not enough light. No one got mauled by a hammerhead. But anyway, no the but you can see there's this one shot where there's a diver in the foreground that you sent me and all those hammerheads. That was an amazing picture. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
We dive on nitrox. We have a big nitrox setup. So we our bottom time is a lot. Like obviously a lot longer. So we sit down there for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And mate, it goes by like it's 5 minutes. Next minute,
Yeah.
like okay, we're up, and because it's mesmerizing, and I mean the amount of light. And on top of that, you get a chance of seeing tiger sharks, which are, no matter how many sharks you see in your life, when you see a tiger shark or a bull shark, your heart stops. I mean, they say, diving is a very relaxing sport, but mate, when you dive in Cocos Island, it's an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just like for the tigers are really. I think they're the more fascinating. Like I've been in the water with the great white. That was not by choice. That'll get your heart racing. That's like, oh, there he is. But the tigers, and I've been like the tigers and the bull. Like the tigers fascinate me because they're from an intelligence standpoint, they're super smart sharks, and that's. Whereas the bulls are just, or can be a little impetuous just because they can be crazy. But yeah, those are. But I've been in the water when the bulls get a bad rap. They're only crazy like 1 month of the year, and then the rest of the time they're fairly docile. But I dove a lot with them in Fiji, and they were fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, what, even though we're very experienced, like we obviously we've been diving all around the world, the Pacific for the last 10
Yeah.
years. We still, when we go to Cocos Island, we still use the dive guides from Seamasters, our agents that you have the photos from. And I mean, these guys that run Seamasters are hardcore divers. The two main owners, Nico and Cristiano, and we've had them on board with us on a bunch of missions. And you want to have those guys with you because they understand the behavior patterns. They know the area. So we still use. I mean, you have to have a local dive guide when you go to Cocos.
100%.
You have to have one, but we always use Nico or Cristiano, and you just feel so much safer. It's a safe environment. Look, at the end of the day, we go into a place that is potentially dangerous. However, we make it safe. You gotta tick off all the boxes to make sure that it's we're doing it right. And those guys do it right. Their dive guides are very, very good, very good.
Well, that's. Well, you're frozen again. But anyway, good. I'll talk over you now. But you make an excellent point. Is that not accused, but some people said that sometimes, like when I took Latitude into dangerous, quote unquote, dangerous areas like the Northwest Passage, and granted, when we did both those trips back to back, we were the 9th boat of any kind in history to do that, and they said, were you nervous or whatever? And I said, nervous isn't the right word for it. I said, but what we were was incredibly well prepared. And that is like when what we do is that, I mean, we sound like you and I can sound blasé, like it's fun. We go surfing, we go diving, we jump in the waters, but there's a lot of planning that goes into that. And I think that the confidence and kind of the joviality that we bring to it is years of training and preparation for these trips. And we do make it safe to bring novices into this area, is because we're equipped to handle the challenges that arise.
Oh, 100%. Even though I'm laughing and smiling, it's all pressure. I feel the pressure. It's like we're always working under pressure, and until you're there and see it, you don't, it's really hard to explain it because it looks beautiful. But again, my crew, I rely on them. You're 500 miles off of Costa Rica diving with Cocos. Your crew is all you got,
Yeah, that's it.
So there's a huge reliance, I mean, you can easily lose a diver. Easily, if you drift off to sea, like if the tender doesn't pick you up, if the guys don't understand the currents, they don't have the nerves. And also it's nerve-wracking, it's 100%, you're always working under pressure, and you got to be able to do it. You got to be able to operate under pressure, and because you never know what's going to come at you, you never know where it's going to come from. You got to be prepared, but at the end of the day, you got to roll with it. You got to rock and roll, with it.
So let's talk about Isla Tortuga, which you love.
I do like Isla Tortuga because I've had some amazing, again, whale experiences. When I told you about that whale breaching, 50 meters away from us, that was there. It's a very beautiful, there's something about it. Everybody's got their, I mean, I've got a lot of favorite spots, but, Isla Tortuga is really beautiful. It's really nice. Also, Punta Arenas, which is a port close to Isla Tortuga, is a place where you can pick up your guests. So, and of course, Punta Arenas is not that pretty, I wouldn't say in any way. You wouldn't want to go in there, but Isla Tortuga is beautiful. So, it's a really quite a short drive. It's like an hour and a half, I think, hour and a half drive from the airport, from San Jose. So it's a great pickup location. And from there, you can, you start in Isla Tortuga and you can make your way up north towards Papagayo area.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk. We'll talk a little bit about right now. So tell us about that. I spent quite a bit. That's little island chain. Just as before you go into Papagayo is like where I did most of the cleanup for the Costa Rican government. So tell us about this.
Well, I guess maybe I'll for cruises, we really enjoy staying in a place called Flamengo Bay Marina. So there's a new marina that's been built there, and so if they can accommodate yachts up to I think 50 or 60 meters. So we fit in there very nicely. So that's a really nice sort of marina if you're looking for it. and it's very close, sort of to the local facilities, and nightlife and
Is
restaurants and that sort of
is
stuff.
that the one that the Four Seasons owns?
I might be, mate. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure.
because I think I pulled into that marina, which on our
Okay.
big plastic cleanup
I
they
got you,
were
man. I got
like,
you.
because I can speak yacht over the radio, but when we pulled up, they were like, "What the?"
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, you uploaded all your rubbish.
Yeah, we're like, "Is this trash?" We're like, "No, this is for recycling." But anyway, that's it. Anyway,
But
and
anyway, so I guess I know we might be running out of time, so I don't want to. But
no, that's
I
all
don't want
right.
to
We
just
can
talk
we can
about the
go over
marina.
this. We can go over this briefly.
So I like the fact that you mentioned the northern bit, the Islas Murciélagos, and also sort of the Santa Elena Bay, and
Yeah,
that area, because I do feel it's very special. And that's the nice thing about Costa Rica. Right now we're in the rainy season, and all the southern parts there's quite a lot of rain. Whereas when you go up north to what we're talking about now, it's like north of Flamenco, it's much drier. And the Murciélagos, which are the Bat Islands, now they do have very good diving, and they do have a lot of bull sharks. So
really.
it's oh yeah, this is the breeding ground for the bull sharks. I mean, you can get incredible experiences there. And they're there right now. Right now there's a big population of them circling around. They're super chilled. Again, you got to use the right dive guides. Make sure you understand the behavior. But it is phenomenal, and it's very different. The northern part is very different from the southern part. That it's much drier. It kind of has that, like, I don't know, like maybe Mars feel to it. And that peninsula, that Punta Blanca that comes out just before Santa Elena Bay, apparently that is like the oldest land in that whole area that's come up, that has been pushed up by tectonic movements. So that is the oldest sort of land. So it is very fascinating.
Well, that sounds fast. Yeah, that's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can hear
good.
you. And then, of course, that area also. So not only does it have great diving, it's got really good surf. One of them, I would say, one of the most famous waves, besides the ones that we spoke about, there's like Pavones, there's Matapalo, but there's also a wave called Witch's Rock, which is among surfers, is very famous. And that is in that area. And within that area, even by tender, there's 4 other great waves. So you can really keep yourself busy. There's Ollie's Point, there's Labyrinth, there's Witch's Rock, and great diving, great snorkeling. St. Helena is very, very different. Like St. Helena Bay is very, very different, very unique. I mean, in that relatively short, range of distance, there's a lot of variety.
Well, that sounds like, again, we could do talk a lot further. I just like I love this picture that you sent me of Dardanella. Where do you take this? Just quick.
So this was taken by one of my deckhands, Josh Chapman, and this was in Papua New Guinea. It was in Papua New
Nice.
Guinea. We tied to a stern to a rack, a dive site, and literally you can jump off the platform and go straight into a dive. And it's a great photo. Josh is very talented. He's kind of like your Shelton. He was kind of like my Shelton. He's got into the movie industry at the moment, and the photo industry, but it's a
Well,
great photo that he took. He
Shelton,
captured
I
it.
mean, again, super proud of Shelton. He's working with the BBC now, doing a bunch of stuff. So if we're talking about Shelton Dupree's, anybody wants to hire him, you can find him on Instagram or elsewhere. Big shout out to Shelton. He's also did the highest latitude, which, like, I literally locked him in a room for 3 months, and he came out with that. He did a fantastic job. Just another big shout out to the New York Explorers Club. I'm a proud member of that. Of course, the Yacht Club de Monaco and their Explorers Club. I'm a member there of their Captain's Club, and the St. Francis Yacht Club of of San Francisco. A big shout out to them, which I am also very proud to be a member of all these organizations. And it's, yeah, 3 very different organizations, but very unique in their mission of conservation, environmentalism. I recommend or anybody check out their websites. You'd find out more about them. And of course, big thank you to Worth Avenue Yachts, which lets me do this on their channel. The any final words?
Just get out there, man. Get out there and see the beauty of the world.
And one question: when is the best time of year to visit Costa Rica and Panama?
I would say around December time. 2-3 months each way.
2 or 3 months.
It's the dry season. It's the dry season.
Fantastic. Well, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. Tune in next time. We're going to be actually got a couple of interesting things happening. So we're going to look at actually talk to Nansen Explorer and some of the cool places that they've been to. Piot, thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned, stay backstage, and we'll see you next time.